Hello and welcome to today's teachings on the Yoga Bandhas. The Bandhas are the practices that take us deeper into the yoga science. Very often around the world, yoga is associated with the twisty postures that bend your body into pretzel, but there's so much more to the science than just physical stretching and strengthening. This is the science of working with our energy. Hatha yoga, Tantra yoga, it's all about working with the subtle energy that is within us and within the universe all around us. So we become channels for this universal energy to flow through us, thus empowering us to step into our highest potential. And by working with this science of bandhas, it's actually much more powerful than the asana or physical practice, and even more powerful than just doing the breathing practices, the pranayama practices. So today we're looking at 3 specific bandhas, and these are muscular contractions that then have an effect on the energetic structure, which then relays messages to the brain and the nervous system, thereby impacting our entire nervous system, our emotions, our respiratory system, our circulatory system, our energy, and that's of course going to have an impact at the level of the emotional state and the mental state. So this practice is actually a holistic practice in itself. And these 3 bandhas, when you combine them all together, called Maha Bandha, or the Great Lock, or the Great Seal, this is what brings it all together, and this is one of the most powerful practices that you can do as a yogi. And this is something that all of us have access to. You don't have to be flexible, you don't have to be strong. All you have to do is learn the techniques, and you do the breathing with this, and you start to activate these different energy centers that regulate every function, every experience in our human life. Working with these chakras is working with all the 5 levels of our being: our physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So you can see this is a very important practice for our evolution into fulfilling our innate potential. Now, the first bandha that we talk about is the root lock, or Mulabandha. And this lock is activating the energy at the level of the root chakra at the base of the spine, and this connects us to the energy of the earth. We're going to do that in a later video. Right now I just want to introduce the locks, and then we'll have separate videos that give a teaching on how to practice each of these specific techniques. When we work with this first lock, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is for the calming, and it's grounding, and it connects us once again to that energy of the earth, which is the battery of our being. It's our vitality. Then we go into the second lock, the abdominal lock, and this is actually balancing the sympathetic nervous system, which has to do with our stress. And when we have a balanced sympathetic nervous system, that helps us to deal with the stresses that come into our modern lifestyle. The third lock is the throat lock, and this is helping once again to balance the parasympathetic nervous system. So when you combine all of these locks, or even just working with one at a time, you're getting an overall adjustment at the level of the nervous system. And of course, we know the nervous system regulates everything. But beyond that even, it's working with the endocrine system, because the chakras are related to each of the glands. And what do the glands do? The glands actually regulate and distribute the hormones. And these hormones regulate every system in the body. So as we work with each of these chakras, we're working with each of the systems in our body and regulating and balancing everything within our entire structure. Now, beyond just thinking about the energy, we also understand that it's an emotional impact, because as these endocrine glands are activated, they're sending messages to the brain. And the brain, connected to the hypothalamus and the limbic system, are regulating our emotional system, our emotional experience. And then, of course, we have the mental aspect. And this mental aspect is profoundly relaxing and calming when we do these bandhas. As we move through the practice, we're going to go into it deeper. You're going to start to feel how each different lock impacts your state of emotions, energy, and mind. And this is important because yoga is about self-reflection, really understanding what's happening internally. This is the journey within ourselves, and how we perceive ourselves is how we begin to perceive the world around us. And as we transform ourselves, we transform our experience in this world around us. So it's much more than just getting physically fit and strengthening the body and getting flexible. All of those things are absolutely necessary, but that's like the foundation. And to build the skyscraper to the highest, we go into the deeper practices that take us into the subtle bodies. Remember, yoga is about going deeper and deeper into the discovery of who we are beyond the physical body. The physical body is like the vehicle for our consciousness, and it's the mind that is true goal of yoga. When we begin to understand our system and then how the mind works, we can then move into the heart. And that's really what yoga helps us to do, is to understand ourselves so that we can understand how we relate and our place in this world around us. So let's go into the practices in the later videos. This is just a gentle introduction to what the bandhas are, and eventually you're going to be able to do these practices on your own, because ultimately what this is all about is finding your personal daily practice. And it's up to us to take responsibility for our health, for our evolution, and how we move into this world around us. And yoga is a system that gives you all the tools that you need to be the best person that you can be, to be the highest level, to fulfill that potential that you are given at birth, and to find your place in this world. So it's a very profound system, and it's actually not very difficult. The only hard part is getting onto the mat each day or onto a place where you can practice. And it doesn't have to be an hour practice. If you can do 5 minutes a day of these bandhas, it's going to change your life. And the only thing I can do is encourage you to try. You'll never know unless you make the experiment. In yoga, we say you are the scientist, the laboratory, the experiment, and the results. So if you try this every day for 5 minutes minimum, you do it every day for 5 minutes for a week, after that you'll be sold. You'll already understand, you'll already start to feel the differences, the transformation, and the people around you will notice how you are transforming into a kinder, gentler, stronger, more powerful version of yourself. And that's what we all want, really, is to be the best that we can be. So take responsibility for your own health, your own evolution, your own happiness, and this science gives you the tools to do so. We'll talk more about this in the next videos. Thank you for joining us today.